A powerful new white hate bear in the form of Dauntless Dismantler is finding its way into mono white initiative. However, I think the card's better suited for Lurrus control. Blue white Lurrus is all the craze right now. Let's give it a shot. All right, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. Lots of Dauntless Dismantler hitting the Vintage Leagues near you. Tons of initiative last weekend, and this card is powerful. Artifacts your opponent's control into the battlefield tap. That's already a huge way to stall out an opponent's fast start, and it really hinders some different artifact combo decks, as well as having the ability XX white, sacrifice it, destroy each artifact with mana value X. So for one white mana, without even tapping, you can destroy all of the Urza's constructs in play and all of the Moxen. I think this card is actually okay in mono white initiative, but its 1/4 stat line makes it a little awkward, and its sacrifice ability actually players really, really well with Lurrus of the Dream Den. So there's a lot of innovation finally happening in the blue X Lurrus Saga control decks. People are now playing decks that are not only blue-black, but also blue-white and sometimes Esper. And the big reason is Lavinia is super strong in the current metagame. Much stronger card than Bowmaster. However, this card is incredibly hard to cast with your 9 colorless lands. That is a big failing point of this kind of strategy. That being said, lots of people, including some powerful wizards like Mog and Discover End, are playing blue-white versions over blue-black versions currently. So it's definitely worth testing if you haven't already. What I'm going to do is play my version of a blue-white deck. Kind of want to lean heavily into this Dauntless Dismantler just to show you how good this card is, and play a couple ideas that I've been cooking around. So this is a blue-white Lurrus control deck. I am going to play a Karakas in the main. I think there's a lot of Lavinias and a lot of Lurruses and a lot of Atraxas running around. The Karakas gets a lot of value in your already white deck. The blue-white decks are kind of opting away from Vault Key because you don't get to play Demonic Tutor. However, you do have an option of playing Intuition Savine's Reclamation, which I particularly enjoy in these style of decks. Having an instant speed tutor and a combo that all uses the graveyard gives you a lot of versatility in what you're looking to do here, and actually gives you a tutor for your Time Vault Key. If you've already have, a Saga getting you a key or a Saga getting you a Black Lotus, then you can, get the other part with Intuition, or like you can find a Black Lotus and a Reclamation, and it all kinds of feeds together pretty well. Many of the blue-white builds are using Seal of Cleansing. I prefer Cathar Commando. It's just a creature that attacks, so I like it a lot more. And that being said, most lists are on 3 Lavinia. I don't have a problem with that. I just can't stomach the fact to play 3 Lavinia, especially in your deck that can't cast Lavinia. So I'm going to only play 2. It's just a personal preference thing where it's probably incorrect, but it's going to make me a lot happier. One thing I don't see players doing that you should be doing, and I'm not sure this video will go out before Eternal Weekend, it probably won't. But if you are playing Lurrus Saga, or really any deck that's not Jewel, you should just play some Null Rods in your sideboard. It's very easy to bring 2 Null Rods in, swap out Time Vault Key, maybe even cut some baubles, and then you automatically have a super haymaker against Jewel Shops. Your deck is already pretty good against Jewel Shops with a pile of counter magic, Dauntless Dismantler, Lavinia being a wasteland for Saga. Like, your deck is already really good against Jewel Shops, but you can just win that matchup at any point in most decks if you just simply put Null Rods in your sideboard. Even if your deck is an artifact combo deck, Null Rod will hurt your opponent more than it will hurt you. Trust me. Jewel does not have to be the best deck or the strongest deck every week. You can tech your deck to beat it. Almost every deck can tech Null Rod. So that's just something I've been particularly mad about. I do think that 4 Containment Priest makes a lot of sense right now in the current metagame with the amount of Oath we're seeing. This actually is a nice cover where Containment Priest is good against Dredge and Oath. I am personally a little scared about the fact that people are playing blue-white instead of blue-black. Blue-white Lurrus is much better against Oath than blue-black is by the nature of having cards like Fragmentize and Containment Priest. So I'm hoping people don't jump on the blue-white bandwagon, but that could definitely happen. And we'll see what happens come Eternal Weekend. Maybe blue-white will be the predominant control archetype. So I'm going to jump into a league with this. Hopefully it'll be, straightforward and fun control outing, but not always my style of deck, so we'll see what we can do. Hopefully Hopefully we Vault Key some people. I really want to show off this card. I think is the big thing. This card is strong. When I played against this card on my Inti Riddler stream, I was just like, how am I ever going to beat this card? So see you in round one. Are you interested in weekly vintage metagame recommendations? Do you want to see your deck list played on my channel? Or maybe you are just looking for the best way to support my vintage content. Make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. Let's battle. All right, we're battling with a cat. And Valky Ancestral, no blue source, no force. I mean, we're going to keep it and die. It's fine. We take those. Underground Sea, die. Nice. Oh, it's Doomsday. Things are bad. Things are very bad. Always fun to have, you know, your nice underground, your Urza Saga Vault Key power hand, but it's so much worse than just having fucking blue spells. It's kind of crazy how this continues to happen to me. Am I supposed to mulligan this hand? Maybe that's the problem. Is the problem that I'm... Oh, I should have played around Days. Mother. I didn't play around Days, by the way. I guess I played around Mindbreak Trap, though. I don't know. Maybe let me know. Like, am I supposed to mulligan these hands that are Urza Saga Soul Ring Time Vault? Like, Ancestral? Like, is this a bad hand? Am I supposed to mulligan this hand because it doesn't have blue mana, because it doesn't have Force of Will? Like... Is that actually what I'm supposed to be doing? Is that the problem? I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like I'm an idiot. Like, oh, you fool. How dare you take the Urza Saga hand and try to win, and you... But, like, I don't know. Just be luckier, have Forcible, have Sapphire? I don't understand. Wait, I'm not dead? That's good for the home team. Kind of think a blue source is our best draw. Great. I was expecting to draw the Caracas there. Yeah, I mean, like, these cards are all amazing, but I have the card Urza Saga and Moxen, so I just simply can't play the game. It's gotta be my fault, right? I just have to mulligan that hand? I don't know. I don't even have chat to tell me I'm an idiot. I can only just look into the abyss and get Doomsdayed. Yeah, you got it, homie. F6. I don't know. I mean, this is like a very, very common occurrence for me, so it's possible that I'm just simply mulliganing poorly, but like, this is clearly a strong start. You know, Saga Soul Ring Vault is a powerful start, and I have the Ancestral Recall card in my hand. I'm on the draw. I don't know. This is like not an infrequent problem. This is maybe every other game when I try to play these kind of like Saga decks. But it's like I said, that's possible that I'm just supposed to mulligan. I mean, maybe this intuition is like silly. It's not another negation, third negation. Like if I played 4 negations here, Savine's and intuition has negations, then maybe I have a negation and maybe it's fine. What's my mana base look like? I have 18 lands. I mean, obviously Caracas doesn't even count as a blue land, so it's kind of like 7 blue lands plus Petal, Sapphire. I'm even playing a Petal, which most people don't play. Lotus, Petal, Sapphire, and 4 Lorians. So, all right, my opponent has found the line. Proud of them. I'm just like dying with all the best cards in my hand because my land simply did not produce blue mana, right? All right, against Doomsday, I actually don't have that many cards. I have a Mindbreak Trap, but I cut some of my extra counter magic in the board. I can theoretically play Null Rods if we have cards that are considered bad, which we do. We have, this is like another instance where Cathar Commando is like a lot better than Seal, because this is a 3-1 flash is actually quite viable in this matchup, whereas a Seal wouldn't be very viable. Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough cards to even take out here. I guess I could theoretically bring... Maybe I just like leave... I can't really tutor a sword, so it's not even that good. I guess theoretically a Dauntless Dismantler is fine. It kind of does the same thing a Null Rod does. Maybe Null Rod's not even good, really. Like, I'd really just like to get rid of my swords if I can. But none of these... I guess I can bring in a Soul Guide Lantern. I could like Needle Street Wraith, but that's like not a great play. Maybe I just keep Min 1 swords for like a possible Murktide Regent or Shield Raid or something. I don't know. I definitely didn't map the sideboard very well. I think like I should have at least one more piece of like Flusterstorm or Negation or something like that. This hand has too much lands in it. This hand is fine. Definitely another classic hand. Do kind of need this Ancestral to resolve. Also, I have to play a blank wasteland. I guess theoretically, I could just cast Ancestral now on my upkeep and run into Negation. Also runs into like Forced Trap. I don't know if my opponent would keep in Trap against a Lurrus deck really, but I think I'm like more happy simply playing the wasteland and going upkeep. I'm not happy at all, but if I was more happy, I think this line makes me more happy. I mean, I'm forcing if they force because I have nothing in my hand that plays Magic the Gathering. Yeah, force pitching Fluster, force pitching Ponders, probably better than Lavinia. That force pitching Lavinia because Lavinia is actually very good against my opponent's deck. Okay. All right, this does get me a blue land, so this is actually a really strong Pearl draw because now I can go get my island and I can get my Pearl and play Lavinia in a wasteland. And they are simply playing a Brainstorm and a non-basic. Ah, they have both Moxen. Guess I should have brought in guess I should have brought in the Null Rod, huh? Nah, that's just unlucky. Opponent got to cycle what is happening? I'm just getting murdered? Interesting. Demonic to shuffle away the bad card with Brainstorm into a Black Lotus. I wonder if this means that like they're gonna play a negation, maybe. Savine's not ideal here, but I probably should have wastelanded because my opponent could have gone Daze, which would have been worse for me. So I should have wastelanded first because my opponent like dazes and makes me pay. Then they get to replay their Underground Sea, right? I think that would be bad. So the good news right now is my opponent can't cast any spells, so that's nice. The question becomes, does Intuition make more sense than Savine's Reclamation? Savine's Reclamation only brings back a wasteland. They don't have a land currently, so. Though I guess I can get Flusterstormed either if I Intuition, but they did hit a land, so now they can cantrip. The good news is if they do crack this, I can then simply Reclamation back a wasteland here if I want to. Oh. I'm just gonna get Oracle comboed? If this card was a blue card, then I could Intuition for force. That's so crazy. Just like easily killed, right? So I can get I can do like force, misstep. But the problem is my other card is not blue. So force actually does nothing. If Savine's Reclamation was a force of negation, like I said. I mean, Intuition looks sick here. But again, if they were both force of negations, then it would be fine. But yeah, I didn't have a blue card, so I died, I guess. My opponent just like easily killed me through a Lavinia. Sick. All right, I guess we try again. Maybe this is mono white. If it's mono white, I do have a Swords to Plowshares. I don't have a blue mana for my Flusterstorm or my Intuition because I have all these colorless lands. I don't have a Lorien and I don't have a Force. I don't know. Is this a mulligan? Again, this hand looks like what the deck is trying to do to me for me, but maybe this is a mulligan. Let me know in the comments. Tell me I'm bad at Magic. I just don't understand. Like, I just don't understand. This is Dahlia. Okay. All right, so it is mono white. I get to go Saga Pearl Bauble at least. Negation after my opponent plays their Pearl. Classic scenario. This at least forces a Wasteland, but they have 3 mana, so it doesn't really help. I think it's better to cycle a Bauble than it is to hold up a Negation at this point. This is why another reason I don't like Negation as like a 4 of. People play it as like a 4 of. I'm just not a huge fan of that. I just don't. Maybe I needed to hold this Bauble as a plus plus for my constructs, actually. That's kind of silly, but that does kind of seem like that might be the case. Well, they don't have a Wasteland, so time to figure out if Urza Saga can get the job done. It does look like I made a mistake, though. It does seem like keeping a Bauble here for +1/+1 actually was important. So that seems like an error that we could have avoided. Though if I hit like another Moxen, things are still fine. I mean, I'm definitely making constructs here. I'm going to have to take a big I mean, I guess technically, yeah. I mean, I would have had a 3/3, but I don't really want to trade. So it's like a little rough, that, right? So I get hit for 7, and then I get trapped. I need to like get a Black Lotus and Swords to Plowshares. Like, it's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you would ever 3/3 trade here, would you? I guess you would because you're so far behind. It's kind of a nightmare. But yeah, I do think that cracking that Bauble was bad. I feel like the extra +1/+1 was way more relevant than another card. Though, like, if I don't draw a land on this turn, then it's like, it's really bad for me, right? I need to keep drawing lands. So, like, there is a lot of value in a blind draw here. They're 1 mana away from Chancellor. I can't actually stop this because I can't afford to lose a construct. I guess I can just Swords the Chancellor. Ah, this is so bad for me, right? So if they like have another white card and then play a Chancellor. But I can't Negation here because it costs a mana. All right, I mean, wait, isn't this better? Wait, what am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this is tapped. Oh, okay. So they played it because they can't do it this turn. Okay, so that's good for me. I'm bad at Magic. I understand. All right, so I get a construct, and then I get another construct. And what I probably should do is Black Lotus, or I can't get a Pearl, huh? I was going to say get Black Lotus and Swords this Thalia, and then attack and steal the Monarch, or whatever it's called. So I don't get trapped right away. But then they resolve a Chancellor. Can I beat a resolved Chancellor? I have to, like, Intuition, but I can't get a Swords, so it doesn't really seem like I can. I can't attack through this Thalia without Swordsing it. I guess I can just Wasteland them off the Chancellor. Okay, so I think that's my plan. Yeah, the only other white source right now is Petal, so let's go Black Lotus. Sword your Thalia. And this is a 3/3, actually. So this is all going to kind of work out here. Wasteland your Tomb. And attack. I have all white mana, so I can't do anything with my mana, but... All right, this looks stabilizing. This is like a pretty good example of why like the mono white deck does sometimes need to have a Wasteland to beat Saga. Though it should be worth noting that if they simply had a follow-up creature or like a follow-up initiative creature, it would have been really bad for me, right? Oh, did they draw a follow-up initiative creature? Oh, no, just a Peacekeeper. Okay. All right. I don't even think we're like out of the woodworks yet here, but we're definitely in a better spot than we were before. But yeah, the fact that they had no follow-up creature and instead drew a Chancellor was pretty rough for them. If they simply drew a Wasteland or even another creature of any kind, like a, maybe not a Thalia, but like a Dauntless Dismantler or an Initiative creature or even a Peacekeeper, I think things would be in a much worse spot. I still don't, I'm still looking back at my play of like activating this Bauble. Like I did draw the land just in time, and I wouldn't have drawn the land if I hadn't activated Bauble, right? So, though I would have drawn an island, but drawing an island here is not as good because my opponent would then just slam a Chancellor. Looks like intuition, attack. I mean, that makes sense. They don't want these to get bigger. Obviously, I trade because I want to keep this board position. We're just going to forge to make sure we don't lose on this board position here. And what we can do is reclamation back something. I love reclamation. Card is so sweet. Dismantler. Not a very good draw in this matchup. Even though I can kill all their mana off, I would lose my mana and my construct, right? So I think here the real easy play is to simply cast Savine's Reclamation on Urza's Saga. That should really solidify this game, I would think. All right, they drew Cavern. They're currently at 7 mana. It's probably just names Angel, I would assume, or maybe Phyrexian. Sure. No, you're still short. You're still at 6, friend. Good try though. So I get to strip mine them and make a construct, and then this game is locked up. I hope. I guess at any point they can draw another initiative creature, maybe. I wonder if I should go. I mean, forging was definitely right. Should I just trap? I think I actually should just arena this Anointed Peacekeeper. Make that thing die. Another negation is not ideal. Just gonna strip mine their Cavern of Souls, and we'll make a construct. I could ponder and try to hit a land, but I think that's like too greedy. I wish these forces were wills. Wow. Come on, not like this, really? Wait, I can just intuition for a force of will, right? I should probably do that. Oh no, I can't because this thing has intuition cost 2 more. Wow, okay. The thing they can't do here is blow up my board, though. No, they can. Wow. Wait, no, they should do that, right? Because this is bad? Why are they letting this happen? Yeah, I mean, they should do this before attacking, I think. Because all I can do is chump after. So I just float my Pearl mana. So they're out of mana after this. I float my Pearl mana. This dies. And then I make a construct. Then I can't make another construct. But they're out of mana, so I think this is a winning situation for me. I think this attack is a little off. I'm just going to make a Skelly Bro to hold down the fort. And then I will go get a Sapphire, I assume. Tundra, Lorien revealed, Lavinia. All right. I think that just settles it. Now I think they, yeah, I don't know if they're, it would have gone better if they had activated earlier, but what a wild game. Absolutely very, very close game. All right, so post board, things happen where we bring in swords. The Dauntless Dismantler being a main deck answer to constructs in the mono white deck is probably really game changing, actually. Something to keep note on. I didn't really think about it, but That does seem like a really big upgrade, huh? I don't really like the idea of Volt Key here, especially if they like bring in Null Rod for some reason. Like I'm not gonna go try to answer Null Rod. Though Spell Pierce is not that great. I think you leave in Mental Misstep for. I think I'm just gonna leave this in because I think Mental Misstep and Spell Pierce are worse on the draw anyways, right? So don't really like the idea of any of these things. You could bring in Needle for Wasteland, but I don't really actually think that's what we want. I could be wrong though. I could definitely be wrong. We'll see what happens. I got a cat. I've got it Time Vault combo, Swords to Plowshares, no White Land, double Wasteland. Yeah, it seems fine. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys could really tell in that game that like this Dauntless Dismantler is the real deal. It doesn't attack very well from the white on white side, but it does block very well. 1/4. Planes go. Interesting start on 6. For me, I'm okay with getting this saga going, even if it's not posing a construct threat, because I have this time vault. And if they want to like take a turn wastelanding, I think we're okay with that. Yeah, Ancient Tomb. Well, that's definitely the worst possible outcome. Yeah. Lorien's so good too. Loren is so good. Sorry. Lorien and Loren are different cards. Obviously. I'm just gonna wasteland this Ancient Tomb and hope they don't have a second Ancient Tomb. I think I just have to do that, or I'm too far behind. Second plane, so they have a Dismantler or a Thalia. Thalia would be pretty annoying. I think we'll play Fetch Land so that we can cast Swords to Plowshares. Don't think I'm casting Ponder here. Don't want to use this Lotus Petal if I can help it here. What is this? F3, F3, F3. Surgical, my Urza's Saga. Now that is something I have never seen before, but okay. I don't think I would be bringing in Surgical Extraction in this matchup, but opponent is a pretty powerful wizard, so maybe they know something I don't know. I'm not super concerned over this Surgical on my Saga. Don't think that's going to be a big deal here. And my opponent's down another card. So I feel like I'm pretty happy about it. Obviously, it strands a Time Vault in our hand, but I don't think that's a huge issue. I am going to fetch away from another fetch land. It's possible we do want another fetch land, but maybe I am supposed to ponder there. Well, I can't. I guess I could ponder. Yeah. I guess if they play a Caracas here, I kind of think I just want... I don't think I want to use a Swords on this thing. The card is so weak. Also, I don't want to give them the ability to use it in their main phase either. Oh, they did use it. Okay. My opponent just probably was pretty weak after this Wasteland on Tomb. All right, I will just Swords this then, if they're just stuck. All right, I'm just going to play Basic Island first, and then Ponder, Black Lotus, Brainstorm, Cathar Commando. Just take all of this, really. So here's like, there's actually an interesting tension here where I could theoretically, I probably want to not, I mean, they don't have a land. Like I could just crack this and Treasure Cruise. I think I'm going to actually. Nah, I'm not going to do that. All right, I probably am not supposed to play this Black Lotus because honestly, just going Lurrus Lotus is the nuts here, right? Or Lurrus Bauble is the nuts here, so I really actually dislike my play a lot. I mean, maybe they have Solitude, but think I just want to use all my stuff and cruise. Not gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the Lotus behind, but I don't think I need a bauble at this point. Maybe I can just keep the bauble. I have 2 blue left over after this. Maybe what the thing is I should have done is I should have left a white. No, because I knew I was drawing Cathar Commando, right? This works out anyways, so I can simply just go intuition, target my opponent, and grab like Savine's plus key plus swords or something. I don't even need Savine's because I have a Lurrus in play, so I can just go Ancestral, Force of Will, Vault Key. I could just go Ancestral, Force of Will. I could just go 3 Force of Wills too. I think all of these. I think any choice on intuition here wins. So, like, they're just gonna give me the key, obviously, and put the 2 spells in the yard. But then I have Vault Key combo, so I think that's fine. They have 1 turn to do something important. I think the only thing they gave me the Force. I think the only thing they really can do is play like a Dauntless Dismantler, but I have swords anyways. I have Force, so now I still have Vault Key. Oh, they have a Caracas. It's a pretty good one. Bounce the Lurrus. We currently can't replay the... Oh, we can because we have the Jet. Oh. Okay, yeah, this doesn't matter. Now I have Force backup Vault Key. I mean, I really like Intuition for this exact reason. It's just a very quick and easy way of ending the game in the deck that doesn't really do that. I guess I should be wary of like a Surgical or something, but... Alright. So I get my key back. And then they die. Okay. Yeah, they were just left with no choices, actually, which is the best way to play Intuition for sure. Okay, onwards and upwards. Round 3 now. Last round went a lot better than the first round. I just didn't really have the right set of my my deck has like very distinct sections where like some of these cards are good against combo and some of these cards are good against creature decks. And like I drew the ones that were good against creature decks versus the creature deck, except for like the first game where I drew Flusterstorm. But I drew the Source of Postures, right? And then against combo, like you have to draw your anti-combo cards, and if you don't, then you just lose, right? This hand has not much. Like, okay, so this is another hand. I guess I asked the question to Twitch chat, which doesn't exist, and YouTube chat, which does exist. Is this a mulligan? Like, I'm on the draw. I can't spell pierce on turn 1. I do have an answer with Wasteland. My opponent hasn't revealed a Lurrus. Like, I have a dead card. Like, I'm gonna put this back, but I'd like to know if like maybe that's silly. I mean, like this hand is like just a clear example of why I hate this deck. Delve spell. White card, blue card, Urza Saga. That seems terrible. All right, well, this is where we're at in life. I think the answer is Bobble Down. Like these cards are both fine, and I do have all the colors of mana, right? I mean, I'm not dumb. I'm just not doing anything, right? I gave up my ability to force or anything. Turn 1 Oath. Well, I simply have no answer for that besides Caracas, I guess. Okay. How do I grapple with that? None of my hands would have beat this, for what it's worth. I think the answer is simply play Caracas and bounce. The problem is, eventually, an Atraxa here is going to trigger and get a Boseiju, right? But maybe they'll mill over all their Boseijus. They had Atraxa on the second card down. All right, with this trigger on the stack, I bounce the Atraxa to your hand, and then I go pass. All right. All right, this one hit a Time Walk and a Tropical Island and a Show and Tell and a Force and another Atraxa. Don't know how many of these Atraxas they're going to keep. I mean, they're definitely going to keep Trop, Oath, Time Walk, Force of Will. And then they do have an Atraxa in their hand, and they're going to keep the other Atraxa too. All right, so that's their hand, right? Those cards are all in their hands. So now they just get the Time Walk. So the thing is, with keeping an Atraxa, it means there's only 2 Atraxas left in their deck. So they could mill over all of their... Maybe they're just supposed to Show and Tell here. Then I could put in a Lavinia, though. Things get real awkward for my opponent real quickly. This could be an interesting game if we somehow pull out. Now they're just gonna hold open Force and everything. I mean, maybe they already have a Boseiju in their hand. I don't think they were supposed to put the Atraxa in their hand. That seems like a mistake to me. I think I'm more interested in just... I don't think Wasteland helps me here, but Flusterstorm for a Show and Tell might help me, or a Time Walk might help me. So I assume my opponent is just going to go for a new Atraxa off of Oath. I think if that was the case, wouldn't we just want Time Walk? I don't know. I'm not sure. I do know their hand, though, so that's nice. So are they going to put another Atraxa in? They could just mill over all their Boseijus. I guess they could have the Gaia's Blessing, so... I guess this is a situation where the Gaia's Blessing does look quite good. I'm pretty big anti-fan of the Gaia's Blessing, so... there's one Boseiju. So let's see. I think they're actually not in a very good spot. They have 14 cards left here. All right, they hit the second Boseiju. That's really, really important. Wait, how did they hit Time Walk again? Oh, they didn't take Time Walk last time. They took Show and Tell last time. Huh. That is interesting. Okay. So, my opponent takes Black Lotus, Underground Sea, Black Lotus, Time Walk, Brainstorm, Oko, not Ancestral, because they're going to brainstorm some of these back into their library, and Boseiju. Okay. Maybe they're going to brainstorm that Gaia's Blessing out of their hand and back into their library. That'd be pretty funny. One thing I'm not going to be able to do now is Flusterstorm, though. Yeah, so this... I kind of need them to mill both Boseijus, which is asking for a lot. All right, well, here it's a pretty simple... We put in Lavinia. They're going to Boseiju me. They have 8 cards in their deck. I have 2 swords in my deck. This might still just be winnable. Black Lotus is gone. Boseiju is gone. Trop is gone. Traxa is gone. Show and Tell is gone. Okay. No cards. Okay. The old Atraxa for no cards. Banger. 8 cards in library. They're very worried. This is Time Walk, right? We're just going to fluster Time Walk. So we need to find a swords, and we kind of need to find it exactly now because my opponent currently can't force because of Lavinia. Not that this mental misstep was going to do anything anyways. But my opponent can't force because of Lavinia. So I have a turn here where I'm not going to get Oko'd. Once my Lavinia gets Oko'd, they can force again, and then it's going to be hard for me to resolve swords. I do need to resolve swords, or I'm in trouble, right? Okay, I'm just going to cycle this Lorien. I really do need to draw swords exactly this turn, huh? Actually, I can draw Savine's Reclamation on Caracas. Imagine that. That'd be so sick. Saga Gaming. It's unfortunate. I don't feel like that's really bad for me. Unless my opponent doesn't have more lands, I guess. And like can't play an Oko. It's kind of crazy how close we were in this game with a couple more like pointed tools we might have gotten there. Eight cards in hand. Or sorry, 8 cards in library, and then 8 cards in hand after the turn's up. Or after they draw, I should say. Yeah, so I think we had 2 swords and 1 Savine's Reclamation, a Time Walk, an Ancestral. We had like a couple good draws. But all my opponent needs to do now is play an Oko and turn off Lavinia, and then they're covered. So I think we have, in fact, still lost this game, which is crazy. But they did mill over 1 Boseiju most of their deck. It's just I need them to mill over both Boseijus, I guess. That's kind of asking for a lot. I also kind of think they should have just like showed an Atraxa that turn instead of going for another Oath Trigger. It didn't really make sense to go for another Oath Trigger. Brainstorm. Okay. Kind of thought my opponent was going to cast Oko here, so I'm a little confused. Maybe they're time walking. I can't remember if they took the time walk. Oh, the time walk's in their yard, right? So. Okay, well, my opponent's tapped out again, which means I have the same possibility to draw all of those other cards. Did I draw them? No, I drew another Urza Saga. All right, well, I will kill their Mox, so they're farther from casting Oko, I guess. And that gives myself 1 more draw. Okay. Looks like I'll have 1 more draw in this game. I don't think my opponent made optimal choices, but it doesn't really need to when you play turn 1 Oath. No, they just have a land anyway. There's no way they have a fetch in their deck, right? 1, 2, 3 tropicals, 1, 2 underground seas. They might have a basic island left in their deck. That's crazy. Like I said, all they need to do is they have a force in hand. So if they turn off Lavinia, they can force all of my answers. So I'm not seeing the island. So I think they have an island they can fetch, which is rather unfortunate for me. But like I said, their play here should be play Oko, turn off Lavinia. Hold up Forest, win the game. He just didn't. Okay. I mean, they could have Fluster, I guess, but Fluster doesn't beat Swords, so Swords? Lorien revealed. So sad, man. So sad. Very close. Very close. I think we almost had this game. Time Vault might also just win if we make it to 3, huh? Crazy. That was almost a win. It was almost there. All right. So here we get to bring in a bunch of Containment Priests. They're nuts in the matchup. We don't have any Dress Downs, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why I didn't do that. We should definitely have Dress Downs. I don't really like Trap in this matchup, but I do like Containment Priest and Cage and Fragmentize, obviously. These cards are all great. Dismantler looks bad. Commando looks good. Swords, I'm not sure you keep swords in. Definitely not Island, though. Island looks quite poor here. I actually have no idea what you're supposed to take out for the rest of these cards. Like, I actually think Lavinia is kind of good. Obviously, it turns on Oath, but I think it, like, stops them from interacting a lot. So it's kind of a tough spot. Maybe the answer is, like, Savine's Reclamation, Intuition, and something else. Like, maybe, like, I don't know how many swords you actually want, but it isn't bad to have swords. It's just not as good as you want it to be, right? I mean, maybe the answer is just Vault Key, right? And you should actually play a bunch of swords. Might be the case. Let's try this. We are the control deck, right? The Krakus main deck was super strong there. It almost was enough. Needed a little bit more help. Yeah, so it's like a little bit of a weird board plan, but I think this makes a lot of sense to me. This matchup looks like it'd be pretty damn good. I mean, 4 Containment Priest is obviously a million, but I suspect Oath will be the most played deck at Eternal Weekend, so I think it makes a lot of sense. And also hedges as your graveyard hate when your deck isn't actually that good at graveyard hate because you don't play Leyline. I kind of really like the look of this deck. I don't think it's a deck that I would be interested in playing just because it's super boring, small ball control deck. So it's not really something I'm super interested in, but it does seem like it conceptually looks good in my mind here. Gonna keep this hand for sure. Obviously, Flusterstorm doesn't hit the Oath, but hits the Show and Tell, hits early Ancestral, and then we can go digging on turn 2 for the rest of our permission. Even if they have an Oath, we can go and try to find a Containment Priest. I think this hand looks pretty reasonable. It's a little bit slow, a little bit controlling, but that's the whole deck, so. All right, I will run my Soul Ring straight into a mental misstep if that's the case. I think that would be okay with me. Doesn't actually help us do a whole lot right now, so. Though I guess this does expose me to Vigor, but that would be fine. Have Fluster anyways if I wanted to save the Soul Ring for some reason. Probably would just end up brainstorming, really. All right, what you got for me? Zen, we got a Pearl. A Lotus. Sure. Hopefully it's a Show and Tell. Oko would be bad. Oko is a card. It's really good against what I'm currently set up doing. I don't have a Prismatic Ending, which I think is a card you might want to consider to kill Oko. Okay, you have all of the trinkets. I see that. You've got jewelry. Oh god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn, maybe they have white They're missing one more color still, but maybe they'll just hard cast Atraxa. This is Show and Tell? No. This is Citadel? That's an issue. Well. Okay. Hopefully they brick. Immediate brick. So now I have Cage with Flusterstorm back up. Definitely doing that. Okay. Do I cast Ponder? Probably. Don't think I want second swords. Oh. Okay. So I'd rather just have... I think I'd actually rather have the land than the force, which is a little awkward. Just because I think hitting this land drop is important, and then I can draw the force next turn anyways, and then we can go from there. I don't know if that is actually true. So I could do the same thing where I just held open force and didn't have Fluster. I don't know. This gives me a little bit more room, but if my opponent draws like Greenland Oko, that's the worst case scenario. Underground Sea. If there was a Bayou, we could cast Oko. Just saying. 50-50 chance anyways. All right. They also can play lands off of their Citadel, for what it's worth. That's like the only thing you can do with a Cage and a Citadel. All right. So here we pass. We can go for an end step for dig if we want. They are green mana from casting Atraxa as well. Are we casting some Atraxas? Am I fighting over it? I have a swords, but an Atraxa trigger is kind of broken. They're doing nothing. I actually don't have enough spells in my yard to dig, huh? It's kind of a mess. I'm just going to draw another swords, I guess. Sick brainstorm, Justin. Now, do they want to keep their top card? They have the ability to fetch away. Okay, they'll fetch away. Get a drop. They have the Pearl, which means they can cast Atraxa. Currently, I'm not thrilled about the situation we're in. Oath of Druids. That one's a resolver. I still have a Cage in play as well. Though, of course, they can Beseiju my Cage. Can't do anything about a Beseiju. Maybe that's a reason to bring in Needle. Needle down Beseiju. Vamp Tutor. That's just going to get a Beseiju on top, and then they draw it. So 1, 2, 3. All right. I think I should have forced this Vamp Tutor. This also lets me cast Dig this turn. As long as I don't get negated, I guess. Yeah, Vamp Tutor does not look good for me, unfortunately. All right. I mean, I'm going to use my mana as efficiently as I can. One thing to note is that I can't Lurrus back anything this game either. Downside of Cage. All right. We're digging. They had the Flusterstorm. Interesting. I kind of figured they would Flusterstorm the Force then. Find it very odd. Maybe the Storm count wasn't high enough. Because I had 4 mana. The Storm count was not high enough. Let's see. Then maybe my play was pretty bad then. Still gonna put the Lurrus into my hand. It does attack. They do have a mana crypt. 1 card in hand, top of their library. Flipping crypts. 13. They can also still show and tell. This does make the swords look awkward. Oh, they found something. White, black. Do they have Hardcast Atraxa now? Oh, Demonic Tutor. Yeah. Okay. I just Demonic for Beseiju. Uh-oh. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm surprised that like they didn't just, like go Beseiju now and start casting off Cage. Maybe they want me to play this Lurrus. I guess if they I'm an idiot. If they Beseiju now, then I could play Lurrus and rebuy Cage. See, that makes sense. However, I don't know. 13 life on your turn with the Citadel, like unless you had a brick on top, kind of feels a little silly, right? The Fragmentize is an interesting draw because if they did go Beseiju, they don't have an Oath anymore, so they're back on the top with Citadel until I replay Cage. Kind of interesting, huh? Weird game. Is there an end step Beseiju still, or almost out of Tundras? Yep. Okay, so that was the plan. I see. Things they did make sense now. So they've unlocked their Citadel at 13 life plus Crypt, and I have a Lurrus with a Cage coming back. So they need to either win the game or kill my Lurrus or get rid of my Cage or elk my Lurrus or something like that. If the Citadel bricks, it's really bad for them. But maybe they could have like a negation. So maybe there's some things that cover it. These swords have been a lot worse than any functional magic card. But maybe they'll still be okay. All right, here's the Atraxa. Trigger on the stack. How swords the Atraxa, right? Obviously, that gives them all their life back, but this makes it way less likely that this sword doesn't resolve. That might even be wrong. Oh, they have a counter. They had a hard cast force. Okay, well, I have another swords after this, if there's an after this. So there is an Oko in there now. So they can go Island Oko, turn off my Lurrus so that I don't draw Cage. Or they can just dismember my Lurrus. Definitely need to bring in Dismember in this matchup because of all the containment priests. I wonder if I should play another Dismember actually in my Oath list. That might be something worth considering. What does my sideboard look like right now? It's not a lot of room. Not sure. Oko, Tropical, Lorien, Dismember. All right. Well, can't kill them on this mana crypt flip, so there's no reason to wait. They just have mental misstep. All right, I'll just concede. Huh. Just got kind of wrecked there. I wonder, maybe the swords are not the right idea, but like we didn't have that many cards on our board, right? So, all right, more battling. We got kinda across the table. Connoisseur of stickers and things. Likely on the humans deck though. I know they said they moved on to a different deck, so maybe we'll get to see some other kind of spice involving universes beyond cards. We'll see what happens. Hasn't been such a strong league so far. We've been kind of getting pushed around a little bit. Don't know how much of it is due to my own play, maybe bad mulliganing, or possibly just this deck doesn't seem to be as strong. We'll have to get some more games in and find out. The matches haven't been super lopsided, but some of the games have been. Opponent has mulligan from 7 to 6 and then down to 5. Currently deciding on their 5-card hand. We have a very quick and easy Delta Island go, Ancestral upkeep. Of course, Ancestral on upkeep so that we don't overdraw and we play around cards like Negation. Delta. Fetch. Snow-covered island because it's December. Ancestral target me. Okay, no forces. Mox Pearl. Strip mine. All right. Glad I fetched the snow-covered island. A classic situation. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. Indeed. All right. Well, we're going to overdraw anyways, unless we draw a Mox in here. Oh, we drew a Mox in here. Oh, that's cute. Not only did we draw a Moxen, we drew our white or blue Moxen, which means I can just slam a ding-dong this Lavinia into play. Not tapping for double white, though. We got lands for days. We've got answers to lands. We got answers to artifacts and enchantments. We've got answers to 1-drops. Ah, a little scam. A little scam action. Well, Mental Misstep's pretty good against a little scam action, as is Wasteland. Though it's kind of interesting that they have a Pearl in this deck. Maybe they are actually playing white cards. Bayou and Reanimate. Satyr Wayfinder. All right, we're off the deep end. I see that now. What do you got for us here? Revealing the top 4 cards. Implement of Improvement from the Catacombs. My God. Someone needs to stop them. They are too far. Put a land from among them. Okay, so they put the Savannah into their hand, and they put the rest in the graveyard. And so they have an escape reanimate spell. But it costs a lot. So they can't Lavinia that. Here, I think I'm interested in just Wasteland and play Cathar Commando, probably. I can Merchant Scroll for a force, I guess. Could Merchant Scroll for a dig through time as well, but that doesn't really seem necessary. Also, don't really think I'm interested in like using Petal to kill the Pearl or anything like that, so. I think if I simply just Merchant Force, we're going to be in great spot here. Then the next turn after, I can either play Commando or I can just buy Lurrus. Another Satyr Wayfinder. Okay. Jet, Once Upon a Time, Needle that looks like Dino. Oh wait, no, this actually is a different card. I thought this was a Needle the whole time, but it's not. It's exile a creature from your graveyard and then create tokens that are dinosaurs. Okay, all right, opponent, I see you. They don't get any cards because none of those were lands, so can't attack with my Lavinia anymore though. Oh, now I can attack with my Lavinia again. All right, well, let's see the secrets. They've got Saw in half, Cabal Therapy. Destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates two tokens that are copies of that creature, except the power and toughness is half. Okay, so this is like mostly just you saw in half your own something for fun, I guess. All right, I will buy my Lurrus. They hit a black mana, we still have. I mean, if they hit a black mana, they can go mental misstep. I think they can go therapy, flashback therapy, and they're gonna get Lurrus, but I think that's okay. If we really want to, we could double force. They did hit the black mana. They also know we have force in our hand as well. So I could just double force this if I really want to. Keep my Lurrus. Doesn't seem necessary. But I don't really have anything going on for me. Whereas if I play this Lurrus, I can like actually have more mana. Maybe I will just force the... Well, they're just not going to therapy again. I mean, they can at any point therapy away my force for their combo, so maybe it makes more sense. All right, so play a Soul Ring. Play a Lurrus. Rack a Petal. Play a Petal. Cast a Cathar Commando, and then I think I'll just sack the Cathar Commando on this Pearl so they have less mana. Yeah, I don't know. My opponent is, of course, brewing because that's what they like to do. But this doesn't look like a pile of very strong cards to me. I think here we just cast Lorien Revealed. I was going to say cycle it, but I think cast looks a little stronger here. Their top cards have Verdant Catacombs. All right. We're just going to get infinite counter magic and then loop extra card every turn. Looks pretty impossible to lose from here. Don't know how my opponent is supposed to like ever escape this, but what do you got for us here? Saw in half, maybe? Saw in half the Wayfinder. So make 2 Wayfinders and put them all in the yard. Sure. I think that's fine. Does that really matter? Ratchet, Troll, Thoughtseize, Once Upon a Time. Haywire, Wasteland, Thoughtseize. What is going on? I will force a Cabal Therapy, obviously, just because I have a second force now. Certainly, these are certainly magic cards. Oh, they did put, what, lands in their hand? Wasteland and no cards. Okay, I should have left a Wasteland there. My bad. It might take me off my blue source, funnily enough. They're just not going to cast Cabal Therapy yet. Oh, I'm so stupid. Cabal Therapy gets countered by Lavinia. Duh. My bad. Sorry, chat. Probably should have realized that. Thoughtseize is coming. Strip Mine is coming. Just get a Dismantler in play. Draw 2. Strip Mine. Right, Saga should just finish. Well, they have a Wasteland in their hand, so they'll probably hold that. I don't know how I can Strip Mine their Wasteland if I wanted to. This I can't counter unless I force, so they can just take a force if they want. If they saw in half this time, I'll probably just Spell Pierce it. Seems like good value. All these things look very winning to me. Let's take the Flusterstorm, sure. And I don't exactly know what's happening anymore. Every turn is like really good for us though, because we draw 2. So like I'm not gonna pass up bobbling every turn. I also know their draw every turn, which is kind of sick. Saga Gaming, huh? I certainly wouldn't want that to happen. I don't actually care about Saga Gaming just because I have a Dauntless Dismantler, but oh, this is an end of turn saw in half. I think I just Spell Pierce this. They can like untap and go escape the catacombs or whatever, but that's fine as well. I can like just, I mean, what are they escaping? They're getting the initiative and they are returning a Grave Troll or whatever, or a Ratchet or something. Oh, wait. Yeah. I don't know. I can just force the first one and then like then I'm making construct tokens and I'm wastelanding them off it. So don't really think that's going to help them in the long run here. I can also just like Cathar Commando this Urza Saga, right? Strip mine something else. Yeah, it's probably what'll happen. Guess they have 2 black sources, 2 green sources, and 2 white sources. Targeting a troll. We'll just force pitching the Lavinia we don't need. I don't have another blue land, so I can't actually just hard cast force. Could always do things like pick up my Lurrus and replay my Lurrus. I don't think that actually helps me very much here, but all right. So I can go play my Cathar Commando, shoot your Urza Saga, strip mine your green white land. I guess I should strip mine a black land because of the from the catacombs or whatever. Play a key, make a guy, F6. I guess I can attack, but I just don't feel like it. Attacking just does not feel like the way we're winning this game. You got it. Stage Wait to Finder does keep finding them lands, so it's a little annoying in that sense. But, I mean, they're not doing anything, so. Not like they can actually wasteland me, right? I definitely should have hit their black land. That was really silly of me. Oh, they're going to wasteland me. Sure. I mean, I do have a 5/5 construct now to attack with as well. I can let them block. I was thinking about going unblockable, but I think just hard casting force is better. I don't know how that card works, so I'm just gonna force it. I don't think that's like necessary, but I think it's fine. Like reading this card, I mean, I can just Cathar Commando it, right? Yeah, never mind. Okay, I should have just, oh, I also just have a Caracas. So yeah. And it also comes in tapped because of Dauntless Dismantler. Okay. I have about 8,000 things that actually deal with that card, so... Also, now they can't cast it again after I kill this. The classic bore my opponent to death strategy here. I will eventually win this game. It's just going to take a little while because my deck doesn't do anything. This Mox comes into play tapped. Like, maybe I'm just supposed to make this unblockable so I win in 3 hits, but, like... Why? I guess I should just do that. Hogak? Oh, God. That's okay. I have a Caracas, actually, now that you think about it. Hogak, for those who don't know, Hogak is currently bugged on Magic Online, where normally Lavinia would just counter it. Oh, it doesn't matter. We have won this game. It's just dead time now. Oh, Intuition also wins on the spot, too. That's fun. They'll probably concede before I cast this Intuition, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, that game was over like 10, 12 turns ago. All right, so my opponent is in need of being taught a lesson. What the fuck is this sideboard, yo? Ah. Okay, I will bring in these 8 cards. I'm just gonna take out Volt Key. Doesn't seem necessary. I'm gonna take out Negation. I'm gonna take out Dismantler. They are a Saga deck, but I don't think that's a big deal. I'm gonna take out Intuition, and I actually think I'm gonna leave in Reclamation. Actually, looks kind of reasonable here. And then they had all these Thought Seizes, so this Misstep looks fine. And then you want Island because they're a Wasteland deck. Lavinia looks nuts. All these cards seem fine. So just trim. I'll trim a Petal, actually. Don't think getting Lavinia in play in turn 1 actually is that big a deal here. We're just going to grind them out with Containment Priest and removal. Saw in half, notably not removal for Containment Priest. His hand kind of blows. But just keep, I guess. What a weird deck. It's like a Hogak deck, but with like none of the cards I think make Hogak strong. And a bunch of cards that cost 8 million mana. Dauntless Dismantler. Quite good against my Saga Life. Basic Swamp. Good against my Wasteland. Thoughtseize. Good against my cards. Just the ideal combination, yeah? See, I purposely kept a hand that was bad, so your Thoughtseize could not hurt me. Got him. All right. What's on the top of your library, friend? You've got a Stitcher Supplier. That's a good one. Quite good at enabling the Yak attack. A basic island. Not exactly what we're looking for. Opponent is F6. Bold. No second land, huh? Oh no, they just F6 checking me? What are we doing here? Just second main phase, stronger main phase. It has a higher number, so it's obviously stronger. Well, I'm gonna give my opponent the opportunity to take my Lorien revealed, considering yeah. Ow. Alright, the second Thoughtseize was the deadliest here, taking both of my spells, and my bauble did not draw me things of value. Don't see any value in cycling or Lorien revealed either. I just have a bunch of lands in my hand. Stitcher Supplier has been placed into the battlefield. Milling over a Wayfinder, a Saw and a Half, and a Troll. I will not cycle my Lorien revealed. I will simply draw and play an Urza's Saga almost certainly. Definitely gonna get the Soul Ring in play. Kind of a nice draw. Lets me go buy this Lurrus. Obviously, this Lurrus can get Thoughtseize number 3'd, but I think that's acceptable. Because it's not good to make construct tokens anyways, because they have a Dismantler coming. So I'd rather just start looping a Mishra's Bauble if I can help it. Also, I'm actually, if they do get rid of Lurrus, I actually can cast Lorien Reveal because of Soul Ring now. Dauntless Dismantler, Urza Saga, a classic combination. All right, so they can imprint for 6 mana creatures, and then they can just create tokens, or imprint for 1 mana creatures, and then they can just create tokens with it. Okay, well, I can't actually stop that. All I can do is stop their mana. I can find a Cathar Commando, right? Because this actually gets around Containment Priest, interestingly enough. Merchant Scroll. Well, the thing I can do with a Merchant Scroll is make a construct and cast Merchant Scroll. I don't have Vault Key in my deck. I don't have Intuition in my deck. I do have Dig Through Time in my deck. Do I have Ancestral in my deck? I think it's just better for me to simply play my Lurrus and start looping baubles. They only have a Dauntless Dismantler in their hand. Though I guess if this Saga gets them a big mana, they can just start playing Satyr Wayfinders and then eventually like Trolls every turn. They are drawing from the Catacombs, though they can't cast from the Catacombs. So I assume they're just going to make construct tokens, unless they want to play this Dauntless to stop me from bauble looping. Also stop my Lotus from coming to play untapped. Okay, so they're going to pass here. I still don't see a great reason to make... I'm going to make a construct now, though. And then I guess I could just like eat their whole yard, but... Oh, I didn't bring in a needle, did I? Maybe I was supposed to bring in a needle. Because Cage is not good here, because I have a Lurrus going. I can bring in a Soul Guide Lantern and just like target their troll, but they can just eat in response, I guess. But I kind of want this to loop anyways. So it's probably just supposed to be a lantern. Okay. Ratchet. Lorien. Definitely don't want to draw Lorien. Let's get Ancestral. Let's draw a million cards. All right, there's my Cathar Commando. So now I have an answer to Dino DNA. And I feel like we're just going to walk away with this game now. Don't think I have to worry about a construct token with Cathar Commando as well. There's a Black Lotus. Swords, yeah. I mean, we are just outvaluing our opponent by playing the good cards, aka the blue cards. Blue, so broken. All right. So yeah, you get a something, and then I just have a million things coming. I'm surprised my opponent didn't play their Dauntless Dismantler. I think it would have been better. Oh, here comes Lotus, sure. One thing I don't have right now is any counter magic, so sure. They get a 6/6 dinosaur Wayfinder. It's fine. Again, I just have infinite things, so it doesn't actually do anything. Living Metal, Lifelink. Whatever, sure. You got it. I don't understand, but I'll just take 3 here if they want me to. Sure. Okay, so I have a Black Lotus. Have a Cathar Commando. I kill your Dino DNA. Whatever. Have a Cathar Commando. Kill your Construct. Play a Caracas. I return your Ratchet. I sword your Wayfinder. Whatever. Just like, I shall play magic cards. All the magic cards. Like these things going into the yard, doesn't matter. I have a lantern. Sword your Dismantler. Untap. Draw. Make a construct. Get a thing. Get a pearl. Get a wasteland. Wasteland your thing. Get a Black Lotus. Get a Lorien revealed. Get a Lavinia. Attack. My opponent, credit to them. I would have conceded on the turn where they lost all of their permanents and I gained a bajillion advantage, but they're still battling. All right, they've been vanquished. All right, simply one more time, have a cat. Maybe? If Magic Online gives me a cat. Aha, we both have cats. Sick. Volcanic Island cat. I see. Some breach combo then. Gotta save this wasteland for Saga probably. Just gonna play my own Saga, put pressure on them. I have other cards anyways. Obviously, my Saga cannot cast my Lavinia here, but... Oof, Arid Mesa, huh? No, Jeskai. Alright, so maybe just control. Lavinia, sure. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna get any constructs off this Saga, but... Did mean I immediately turned off my Force of Will. The fact that my freaking Saga land goes away, so it's actually hard for me to cast Intuition is really, really annoying. Because my land goes away and I won't have enough lands left. Woo, baby. Expressive iteration. Yeah. Yeah. Play that fair game. Do it. Hit the Sapphire. Brilliant. I think I'm in a pretty bad spot, to be honest. Simply just being on the draw put me in a bad spot. I think I'm just going to get any mocks off of this Saga so that I can go Urza Saga Lavinia here as well. Then they have to answer my Saga because I make constructs, I guess. Definitely am not sure that this Saga play on turn 1 was right anymore. They miss a land drop. Interesting. Maybe we wasteland them then. This should just be Sapphire. Lavinia. Just gonna wasteland their Tundra, I think. If it, I mean, yeah. This puts them off the number of spells that they can cast and keeps them off swords, which should be their removal spell of choice, I would assume. Maybe I should have cycled Lorien Revealed there because I actually am running out of land drops. I don't know. Another expressive iteration? Sure, I mean. Oh, this counters Dreadhorde Arcanist's spells as well. Yeah, not interested in trading here. They're also tapped out, so I can go Saga Merchant Ancestral if I want. Obviously, I'll overdraw if I do this, but I think that's also acceptable. I have a lot of dead cards right now. Don't know if I'm willing to get rid of all of my forces yet. But eventually I can just block these Lavinias. Would love to draw another wasteland. Oh, that technically is another wasteland. I don't think we're playing that this turn though, because I can get flustered. I don't really want to get flustered. Right now I just want to make these constructs as well, so. Ancestral maybe? Oh, just cycle. They should just do that on their turn, right? What's preventing them from doing that on their turn? Holding up double counter? It must be double counter. Blue, Time Walk. They have swords as well. Yeah, not good. That is why we wastelanded Tundra. They can technically attack with their Dreadhorde Arcanist here. Wonder if I'm supposed to just cast Intuition. The biggest problem is this Lavinia is stopping me from protecting my combo if I went for Intuition instead. Like, if I had a bunch of removal spells, maybe I could intuition for removal. Ugh. Super bad for me. This went so badly. The fact that they just like hit the land, had swords, and before I found swords, they're just gonna swords it. Sure. All right, I'm just going to cycle. This Lavinia is actually really annoying right now. I still think playing this Cathar Commando is better than like playing Savines and getting back another Saga or Wasteland. Pretty sure Ambush Vipering the Lavinia is better than Ambush Vipering the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Also pretty sure I should let them draw before casting my Cathar Commando in case this gives them information to like find a Swords to Plowshares. This game slipped away from me. Felt like we were in actually a pretty good spot, and now we are very, very far behind. Not very, very far behind, because we do still have a Saga. But they find a Wasteland, I guess. It's like super bad. If they don't, it's like still not that good to cast Savine's Reclamation, because I am going to make Saga tokens soon. If we successfully ambush Viper this Lavinia, things are quite good. They have to have Force. They do have Force. Okay. Force pitch missed up. Uh-huh. Still am pretty worried about, like, getting my Reclamation countered. I think it's simply better to make constructs. They drew another Wasteland on me. Madge. They have another Swords? They have a Prismatic ending. All right. This is the engine. They've got their engine going. So I can Reclamation back a Commando, I guess. At some point, they gotta like run out of stuff though, right? Maybe not with a Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm gonna Reclamation back on Urza Saga. It's gonna be a turn before I get to do a lot of stuff with this, but are they gonna negate it? Hard cast negation, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I think like giving a bunch of mana so I don't get Flusterstormed and then still being able to buy Lurrus is good. But getting my flashback spell with a hard cast negation is also pretty damn good. They still have a preordained to flashback as well. And they drew another expressive iteration. Oh, they drew another Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. That's definitely better for me than if it was a expressive iteration. But this preordained could just be enough. We'll have to see what happens. But I can try to resolve Lurrus and then resolve Cathar Commando here, so. I mean, they went bottom, so maybe they don't have a Force or Swords or something. I think I just cast Lurrus first, because what am I really pondering into? My one Flusterstorm, I guess. So they have another Swords. Oh, that means they're just gonna swords the Lurrus, and then they're going to swords the Cathar Commando. Man. You just have infinite action. I drew the Caracas. Okay. Do I play the Caracas right now? No, that doesn't really gain me anything. I just wait till next turn I play the Caracas and then I cast Cruise. Don't think Intuition gets me anywhere. I try to win the game with combo next turn. Hopefully they're going to be out of interaction here. They currently don't have another flashback spell besides swords. They have a monkey. I sure hope they don't hit one of my combo pieces. All right, well, I have a plan. All right, the good news is they're not drawing any more cards here besides Monkey. So as long as Monkey doesn't ruin my day. Oh, they can also P-ending my Sapphire. Sure. All right, so this Monkey hit's important. Hopefully it's nice to me. It hit my Time Walk because I put my Time Walk on top underneath, man. I'm so bad at this game. I'm so fucking bad at this game. I lose the game because I'm bad. Oh, I knew that was coming too. That's so frustrating. Should I have played around that? Should I put the Lorien revealed? Oh, such a winnable game. So disappointing. Okay. I played that round probably very badly, so it's my own fault, right? Probably do... Needling Wasteland is like so small, though. Man, I don't need negation, really. Let's just run like this. Losing that game is so bad. I feel like I played it great, and then I just threw it all away. In one ponder, I threw it all away. I did not play around the top deck monkey. Well, I'm pretty much down to keep these kind of hands. I really don't like putting them away in Vintage. You kind of want to have your powerful hand. It's just not good, though. Don't really want these forces, though, so... Savines. They just go Lotus Swords. I mean, using this Ponder to shuffle away my forces is like really, really not good, but I feel like that's what we're into here. I have to shuffle. I just can't draw these cards. I mean, that was just not a very strong starting play, right? It was just not good. But maybe I do have to mulligan that hand in this kind of matchup. They drew a Wasteland for turn. What? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have cantrips in my deck, so it's a little challenging. Whereas my opponent's deck is entirely cantrips. It does feel like kind of a tough matchup in that sense. Volcanic, Preordain. Top, bottom, top, bottom. Good lord. Okay. Do I trade for a Black Lotus? I think so. Wasteland game plan. Do you have a dig through time coming? They drew another fetch land. They showed me a different fetch land. Broken. I gotta try to leave things into this yard for so I can leave Dismantler and Lotus. I'm just gonna go now. I don't think it actually gets better for me. I know a bunch of the cards in my opponent's hand, 4 of 6. And I know if I play that, yeah. So now I can get Saga Gaming and I feel like Cruise is too soon. So I guess I could just get Saga Gaming and Lavinia. Even though I know that they have an answer, they just played another land that I didn't know about. Really don't like that kind of play. Are they going to Monkey? Oh, they have a Dread Horde. Okay. I think it's worth it to simply resolve the Lavinia first before going Saga Gaming. That way I can Swords this thing without any worry of getting things happening to me. This gives me a turn. Also, I'll have them step for Swords now. They'll have to have Flusterstorm. All right, there's the Flooded Strand. There's the Swords. Missed up the Swords. I could have brainstormed here. Scroll. But Lurrus in my hand looks a little bit better than playing Savine's here. There's the Brainstorm. Ah. Okay. I guess my opponent never even bought Lurrus in game 1, so maybe I wasn't very close to winning the game, but they don't have that many things to return with Lurrus because all my removal is Swords based, right? Pyroblast. Okay. I can't even protect my Lurrus with a Vault Key or with a thing here, so I think I would rather simply make Saga tokens. And maybe get an expressive iteration with a Spell Pierce here. Seems like pretty strong value. This also lets me establish a construct plan. Obviously, this puts me further from playing my Lurrus, but again, I don't think that's a huge issue. Soul Guide might just be nice here. But I could also Sapphire for Ancestral. Which seems like a little bit stronger. I guess I can Soul Ring for Ancestral. Should just play around Daze by untapping this. I guess I can play Reclamation here, actually. This might be even stronger. What if I just Reclamation back Lavinia here? It's probably worse than Reclamation back Saga. Also, Soul Ring builds me towards a flashback Reclamation as well. I am out of stuff, though. So they do have Merchant Scroll Ancestral here. But I think that's okay for us. Like, hey, what's the worst thing that can happen? They Merchant Scroll, they Ancestral, they get a Wasteland, they Wasteland our Saga. Is that big a deal with these constructs in play? Maybe they have a dress down. I don't know. I can't really protect my dress down that well anyways. Oh, they have a dig or something? That's fine. I could theoretically... I don't know. I have like so many choices right now. Technically, I can make a construct and replay something with Lurrus, and that is going to be 6 damage, 12 damage for lethal too. So like even if I just draw a single bobble, it's lethal. All right, well, I'm going to cast Lurrus. And even if it gets countered, actually, I can return it later too. So this gets countered. I make a construct and put them to 1. Certainly limits the things they can do. Some snoozy control versus control gaming. But I got Urza Saga, so they've got cantrips. I got Urza Saga. Who will win? Game 1 was cantrips. Game 2 was Urza Saga, though. Oh, I never submitted with 61 cards. Nice. Pedal is not needed here. I guess Dauntless Dismantler is a little sus too. It doesn't really do that much, but it does block, I guess. Is like a random creature better? This is fine. This kind of forces them to have a Wasteland. Though, just like another hand where I'm not actually ever able to spell pierce a card, right? Because I have to lead with Saga, right? I assume I have to lead with Saga here. I mean, I don't have a blue source to lead with anyways, but these Dauntless Dismantlers, though, I could definitely see being something else in this matchup. Definitely not the place we're looking for. Do I like my top card? It's a Wasteland. I think I do. Take any land here, really, right? If I play out my Time Vault, I can get Prismatic Endinged. So Lavinia, I assume. Actually, don't think I need Lorien Revealed. But, like, what does this Spell Pierce do for me? Maybe it protects my combo. But not really. Maybe that's just silly. I can go get a blue land. Oh, that's such a shit draw. All right, I'm going to just make my opponent have it. They forced to protect their Lavinia, which is a bold move. Let's see if they've got Prismatic Ending or Wasteland. They got Wasteland. All right. They had it. They have a follow-up. God, they have a follow-up Dreadhorde Arcanist. This game is toast. Yeah, I mean, if you have it, you have it, right? I made them have Force, and I made them have Wasteland, and they had both. Feels hard for me to do much after that. Maybe I should have attacked their mana. Doesn't really feel like that's the case. Now they're just going to get a Dreadhorde Arcanist engine going, and we are kaput, unfortunately. Oh, they have another Wasteland. Yeah, I mean, like, these games are all about Wasteland, aren't they? These games are just all about Wasteland. Really, really broken card. And being on the play seems good, too. I should have kept my Lorien revealed instead of my Spell Pierce, because then I could cycle it and find a land after I get Wasteland locked out of the game. Soul Guide Lantern. It's pretty good too. I could always just draw key and win though, right? They hit the saga, so I don't Savines it back. All right, well I hit a new saga. It's pretty good as well. I'm only taking one a turn. If they don't play no new like Wasteland, it's sorry, if they don't play new Preordain, then the Dreadhorse not actually getting value. They just have triple Wasteland. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. My opponent's drawing the good cards. Probably should just crack their lantern, right? Even if I like put Lurrus in my hand, I don't actually have the ability to play Lurrus. I'm not gonna wasteland them. I need mana. Time Walk, sure. No, that doesn't really matter. It just does damage and redraws. Yeah, I mean, my percentage chance to win this game is extremely low. I can't F6 anymore because if they wasteland me, I need to wasteland them back. Boring. Just Tundra. Red. What is that? All right, whatever. I have this. I'm gonna hit this. No, I just have Pyro. What is this? Red, white? Is a wear tear? Sure. All right. Well, they have one card. They've got a Dread Horde. They have perfect mana, and I have Force. So they can go Lurrusing. If they put Lurrus in their hand, I'll probably cut them off white. I don't know if I'll like cut them all the way off white. With a Saga in my hand, I don't want to do that. But I think hitting one is good. If the Saga ends up not making constructs because of it, I think it's okay. If they do like find a follow-up land and cast it, we also still have Force. I don't know. This is kind of a risky wasteland, right? But kind of like the idea. Please just one draw spell. I don't think so, opponent. We drew Sapphire, based, and good. Constructs are here. Save the day. Wasteland. Oh, that doesn't let them play Lurrus. That does mean I don't get my freaking Urza Saga stuff. Does mean I'm going to waste them off of... I actually probably want to waste them off of Island now, so they can't play a draw spell. They have swords on the construct. And now they get to swords both things. Okay. Oh, they're not going to swords the Dismantler. Okay. Casting this seems wrong, actually. I just kind of did it, but it looks pretty bad. Oh, mental misstep. Sure. All right, well, I'm going to hit your blue mana. So that's where we're at in life. At any point, they can attack and Swords this Dismantler if they want. Looks like now is the time. Okay. Oh, they're just attacking for fun? Maybe they have Lightning Bolt. I will block for fun. My opponent is 9 minutes down. Okay, Lightning Bolt, sure. True's your daddy? Ah, Savines. All right, well, I'm way out of lands now, so just need to draw more, I guess. So they can attack and bolt me if they want. They have Lurrus +2 unknowns in hand. Nope, they're just going to attack. I think that makes sense. Save the swords and the bolts for more creatures that I might play. Just looking for mana, really. Caracas. Okay, not a bad one. Protects against Monkey a little bit. If I can get to another mana, I can go Savines on a Saga. I think I'd rather them just go all in here and play the Lurrus. I don't think like Spell Piercing actually protects me from any counter magic here, so. I mean, I have a Caracas for Lurrus. Oh, they're just gonna go for cantrips. Okay, I guess it can't. Any cantrip that hits a white land plays Lurrus, so. And they also get a second cantrip off of Dreadhorde Arcanist, so they went one top, one bottom. Oh, dig. All right, well, I'll Spell Pierce dig. Ah, it's Pyro. So, I mean, we were just super doomed, right? All right. This looks bad. This looks very bad. Don't really know what I was supposed to do. Like, it just was a horrible spot, right? If they already have the Pyroblast and I Spell Pierce the dig, or Spell Pierce the Lotus, then they just play Lurrus. I guess playing Lurrus doesn't matter that much. But if they just do the same thing and then they play, I don't know, it depends on what that Preordain found, right? All depends on what that Preordain found. Sag. The Black Lotus top deck for the dig off the plateau mana base. Not ideal for Justin. Man, if I had a Black Lotus top deck, it wouldn't be that good, but I can still imagine it would be, right? What is this? Prismatic on my Mox? God, why? It's so lame. Oh, it's a pretty good draw. They also have, now they can play land Lurrus Lotus. They don't have a flashback here though, right? So if they're stuck again, it's good for me. Just bolt for 3 to the face, maybe. It's my best draw. Oh, expressive. Oh, merchant. That's not good. They get double ancestral here. Ah, things are bad. Swords. Well, now they only get 1 ancestral. Should I like reclamation? Just swords this thing. They still get an ancestral though. Like, am I really coming back from an ancestral here? Ah, gross. They hit Pearl off the top, so now they can cast Lotus Lurrus. Ah. Yeah, okay. Second Soul Guide Lantern. Jeez. My friend was ready for the mirror. Now I can't reclamation. That is frustrating. Well, they only have one card in hand. I can force this on the way back down, maybe. I feel like cracking for a card here is so greedy, right? Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. What is this? Lorien? Yeah, I mean, what do you like? What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna force it. Can't beat the Lurrus currently. Can I please have a... I think I just go get a Tundra. Oh, I have a Saga. Let's get a Saga. Oh, I didn't think I had any Sagas left. Okay, force. I mean, that's good. It means I can maybe force the Lurrus as it comes back down, right? My opponent does have to win in 2 minutes as well. I'm up 12 minutes on the clock, which is not parity. I have force. What are you going to do about it? Just cast a bunch of draw spells. They have 14 cards in their deck, too. Kind of crazy. Guess they hit a Pyroblast here. Oh, they just wanted to get rid of my force. Okay. So what do I do? Wasteland. All right. It is what it is. At some point, they can have a monkey or something too, right? Dread Horde with Ancestral in the yard. It's a good one. Also, swords in the yard. Black Lotus. My opponent has no counter spells. Is there anything I can do here that's like supremely strong? I can go Black Lotus back, Wasteland, Black Lotus. I can go Lotus, Lurrus, Lotus. I mean, the problem is my Lurrus is like going to get sorted by this Dread Horde, but I feel like it kind of has to be, right? Oh, they just have a counter spell. They have Dress Down. No, I don't even get value. I guess I can just Caracas back my Lurrus. Okay. I mean, again, they have a minute on the clock. Like, I would sometimes say I'll just concede, but I'm up 11 and a half minutes. Oh, swords from hand. All right. I guess this just means... Oh, they have just sword, 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 triple sword. Okay. Ancestral kind of puts them at risk of drawing out, doesn't it? They have to deal 9 damage. They have 9 cards. They're at 9 life. And they're at 40 I mean, they're going to draw. They're going to lose this game. I'm also, like, not convinced my opponent can actually kill me, right? I have a Caracas. They need to have another Wasteland in their deck, maybe. I'm going to take the win. I think that's acceptable here. Cruise 6 card. I mean, they can't even win in 6 hits. I think cruising here is nuts, right? Like, the problem is their deck doesn't do any damage from this spot, right? They have Lavinias. I can bounce until they find a swords or until they find a wasteland. I can bounce Monkey until they find a wasteland. They have 6 cards to draw to win. Depends, I guess. If they have another lightning bolt, then that would make the clock a lot faster. Kind of weird games. These decks, both of our decks don't really close very fast, so you do have to be mindful of taking too much time. Key would not be a great draw. Yeah. All right. 3-2 with one where perfect play puts us out of contention there. This deck does have some merit to it, but it's so clunky, isn't it? It's just so clunky. I find all of these decks to be very clunky. I don't really know what you're supposed to do about it, but I'm not. Savine's Reclamation is kind of sick card. I don't know if like you actually have to play this Intuition. Maybe you can just play Savine's, but I guess if people move over to Swords to Plowshares in their control decks, it does get a little bit worse. But simply Savining's back an Urza Saga is usually what you're doing anyways. Like almost all the time, unless you're doing like a combo kill, the thing you're returning with Savine's Reclamation is Urza Saga or Wasteland. So kind of an interesting setup. I don't mind it, but it's also not something I want to play. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure you give it a shot. I will see you for more vintage content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my YouTube channel. I will see you then.